Yeah. Let me tackle this, and everyone's got the referral in front of us, but I will go through it. There's a continue to be complete lack of confidentiality inside the City Hall regarding the identification of applicants for posting positions. This occurred during the selection process of city manager and as well recently as the city attorney. It is a standard practice in the public and private sector not to reveal applicants' name for any position for which they have applied. Confidentiality must be upheld throughout all stages of the process, and particularly during the interview process, thus not jeopardizing the present employment of the applicant. However, the selection criteria timeline used in the process must be transparent and open. And the reason I talk about that is because we had a lot of pushback from the news media that was saying that we weren't as open as we should. But I think there was a little bit of confusion of how far they wanted to go with it. Recently, Mayor Gilmore animately expressed concerns of lack of confidentiality. Similar complaints of this nature has also been expressed by council members as well as candidates themselves. Lack of integrity on the behalf of the city Alameda's representatives has caused undue personnel consequences to applicants and has compromised the validity and merit of the selection process. These actions are not in the best interest of the citizens of Alameda. The council selections have been conducted in closed sessions. It's therefore requested a complete review be conducted to determine the root of the ongoing problem and immediately take necessary action and adopt procedures. The reason I brought this forward, and Alameda has been under scrutiny for confidentiality. And this one is a little different. This is personnel confidentiality. It's not the Brown Act in that respect, because there's certain things in the Brown Act that we meet in closed session. This happens to be a selection process, and that, in essence, is somewhat under the Brown Act. But the concern I have is that we have continually, through the news media and the blogger avenue, have come up with second guessing what we're doing. Sometimes their second guessing is dead on, and that's concerning, because if indeed it was second guessing or it was a slip of the tongue from one of us, it becomes a very concerning factor, because you're jeopardizing someone's chance of moving forward or applying for a job. And that's something that I think that all segments, as I say, public and private, always honor. And I'm concerned because it did occur again. And I would like to see us do a little bit more soul searching and look at our procedures and how we can safeguard that. We might not have the opportunity of selecting a city manager again or a city attorney again in the real near future, but we have to use the criteria. We have to use our criteria as we go forward in all our doings within the closed session. So I thought the news media became quite pushy and running various articles and saying that we weren't open in what we were doing. And there's good reasons why we're not open, and we're trying to safeguard those principles. So I brought that forward. I was hoping that we can recommit ourselves to that philosophy, because unduly we might have eliminated, individuals. By.
Okay, I'm a little unclear on the concept. I'm not sure what you're asking us to do by way of this council referral.
What I'm asking us to do is recommit to ourselves that we uphold the confidentiality of what we're doing in closed sessions and going through various process. I think it's very important that we live by that rule, and that, certain compromises have been made.
Councilmember Johnson?
I'd just like to say I'm quite offended that you're saying to the council that you don't think the council is committed to that.
You should be offended.
I am.
I would be offended too, and was offended.
I am.
And I was offended.
Okay. So I think we need to understand more fully what you're asking for.
All I'm asking for is recommitment to that level of confidentiality.
Well, I'm not sure why we need to recommit to anything, because when this came up and we discussed it, we all affirmed that we were keeping to the strictest dictates of confidentiality. So I'm unclear as to why we need to recommit to something that we have already committed ourselves to doing, and according to all of us, have kept that in strictest confidence.
Did we have a breach? Did we have a breach?
On which occasion?
On the most recent occasion.
Well, for the benefit of the public, why don't we have the Human Resources Director come up and sort of give us a brief history of how the process worked?
Mayor Gilmore, members of the City Council, my name is Karen Willis, Human Resources Director. I believe we're talking about the most recent recruitment for our city attorney. The the Human Resources Department does indeed keep the confidentiality of all applicants who apply for any of our positions, not just this most recent city attorney one, but any time anybody applies for a position, it is under confidentiality. We don't release that information. We don't release lists or names of applicants for any of our city positions. They can apply through different means, through our website, which only we have to have a password to get into. Sometimes they can still apply through the regular mail system, mailing in resumes and things, which come directly to the Human Resources Department. All of our folk in Human Resources are confidential employees and understand that the release of this information cannot be public. They can also apply through email, just directly into our Human Resources email system. So we have several means for applicants to apply. For the city attorney position, most recently, most of them were through that email. They emailed their documents and things to our Human Resources email. 3 people had access to those, who then they would download the information, file it, and we created a matrix for the city council. The resumes were all copied and a notebook prepared that we put in the mayor's office for access by city council members only. That was the only place we had those resumes, except under lock and key in the cabinet in Human Resources. So nobody else was provided a list of applicants. We really didn't even get, I got a request from a couple of news media sources, and basically I told them the same thing I always say, is that is not a public information. We can't release the names of the applicants. When council then, the subcommittee of council narrowed the applicants down to a smaller group that they wanted to invite for interviews, even that was kept very confidential. That was just between the 2 subcommittee members and myself and another member of my staff who helped prepare the letters and the documents for the applicants. We send out a letter to the applicants inviting them. We first call them personally and then send them out a letter. In the letter, we will always say to them that although the confidentiality of the candidates we would like to maintain, we cannot always guarantee it because, especially for a city attorney position that the city council is going to be interviewing, we have to post that as a public meeting, meaning anybody can come, although it's a closed session where council is going to be interviewing the candidates in a closed session that nobody else is going to, it's not open to the public. Anybody can watch and see the candidates coming and going, so we cannot guarantee confidentiality at that point. We still won't release the names and we won't confirm who was there and who was not, but some people can certainly sit and watch and see candidates coming and going. So we do try to notice the candidates about that. And in this particular process, the city council then narrowed that, again, those candidates down to a smaller group to invite back for second interviews. And again, we went through the same process. I again noticed them. This time I was the only one in my office who knew the candidates for the second round of interviews, and I personally notified them, personally developed the letters and sent the letters out, again saying basically the same thing. It would be a meeting of the city council. It would be noticed to the public as a closed session. We couldn't guarantee the confidentiality. We would not be sharing the names, but there would be no guarantee that somebody wouldn't come to observe the process. So we do our best. We cannot guarantee that the applicants themselves are not going to release their names. Certainly they are free and at will to do that if they want to declare themselves openly that they are a candidate. We don't have any way to prevent those candidates from doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll leave it at that. I think we all owe it to ourselves to uphold that. I believe the staff did exactly what they had to do. And I believe and I recognize and I honor what they stated. And so I do express that there is and have been a concern by the mayor and other people. And I think that's it's time that we just recommit to that.
Councilmember Johnson.
But I'm still bothered by this. You're saying a lot. You're trying to be vague, probably unambiguous, but that's a kind of a legal term, so we won't use that. But but by being vague and ambiguous, and by you saying that we all need to commit, you're essentially accusing us of leaking the information when we've had this discussion as a council, and we were all very disturbed about the leaking. And now you've eliminated everybody but the council by saying, well, you think the staff did what they were supposed to do, and so it must be one of the four of us, because you think you're indicating you're committed, and we all, the rest of the four of us, need to recommit. So I'm, again, pretty offended by that.
Be offended.
I was probably more offended than you about the leaks.
Okay. This city, all fairness, this city has gone through a year of discussion at that kind of level. And when we go through that, it's not good for any one of us.
I don't think anybody here disagrees with that.
Okay?
I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
If you feel that you're offended, I apologize that you're offended.
The thing I'm taking offense to is that you are sitting there accusing the other four of us, when I think probably we all have different opinions on how things got leaked.
Sure.
And I'm sure each one of us up here, each of the five of us have our own theory about how things got leaked. And you're accusing the other four of us, and you're trying to eliminate yourself from that pool of possibilities, and probably the other four of us have not eliminated you from that pool.
You probably can say that if you wish, and that could be your position, okay? I'm just saying that we've had a track record that we need to be very, very careful.
I agree with you.
I agree with you.
And to be anyone any one single person being accused of it, I think that's unfair, too.
You're accusing the four of
Yeah, you
us.
just accused the four of us.
Okay.
All right. Are we?
The mayor accused me of it, okay?
Yes, I did.
Okay? And I guarantee you that I did not do it. And
Well, Doug, what did I tell you? I said I had questions. I came straight to you.
no, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I said it to your face.
No, you didn't. You did it with all people involved, all the council involved. Okay?
I said it to your face, Doug.
Sure. Without any foundation whatsoever.
I'm not going to discuss here in public the foundation that we talked about when I talked about this to your face. But I gave you the courtesy of being straight up with you about what I thought. I listened to what you said, and I apologized to you if I was wrong.
Thank you. That's all I needed.
But I said it to your face, and I told you I would never say anything behind your back that I wasn't willing to say to your face.
Okay, I have a formal apology. Thank you.
I think the other four of us need a formal apology.
I brought it forward, and I apologize if anyone...
And by the way, I apologized to you the same day, because I said, I'm sorry if I had accused you, and there was no grounds to that. You had a formal apology that day. I don't understand why you brought it up in public, because if you hadn't brought it up in public, no one else would have known about this conversation.
Thank you.
May I just state what's actually in the public record? In both instances that are in this referral, in the city manager's recruitment as well as in the city attorney's recruitment, potential candidates did make a declaration and they did solicit letters of support from the community. So those are also part of the public record, and to suggest that it could be one of us that's providing that information is probably not accurate.
Are you done?
Yes.
Council